Hi, welcome to Tasty Makers. Today, I will be showing you how to make this cake from Joshua John Russell, or The Man About Cake, and the history of cake decorating. Let's get tasty. You're going to need one of these bench scrapers, not only to scrape your bench, but also to make your life in the kitchen so much easier. 2 9-inch vanilla cake rounds. I took this recipe from John Kannell from Preppy Kitchen. You're going to need a cake stand or something to put your cake on. Some room temperature buttercream, also from Preppy Kitchen. Some chocolate ganache things like chocolate chips and heavy cream. And lastly, this thing with this tip. Let's get ready to cut the uneven edges or ridges. So unveil your chilled vanilla cake round and break out your sister's wire cake slicer. I normally use a serrated knife here, but I never used this guy before, so I tried it out. So you adjust the height of the wire and you start rocking your hand back and forth like so while bringing the wire through the cake. My first slice was a little bit too tall, so I just made it shorter. So readjust and repeat until you have the perfectly flat round, which is an oxymoron. So while I get started on the next 9-inch cake round, I'm going to go ahead and start talking to you about the history of cake decorating after this bite. Yum. So to talk about the history, just so that you know, I got most of this information from the #1 source of world knowledge, Wikipedia. So cake decorating actually started in Europe in the 1800s. It was made for the rich, by the rich. Now, as the technology of ovens improved, which I'll cover in another video, people started to pay more attention to detail and presentation. We're going to come back to history in a second because it's time to get your middle layer ready. Spoon on a few bloops of your homemade frosting, which will be another video, and take your offset spatchy spatch or a knifey knife and start flattening it out. I noticed that it was not enough buttercream and that the layer was way too thin, so I put on a few more bloops, got my spatchy spatch, and wait 1 second. We're going to give everybody a little bit of a surprise by using some sprinkles right in the middle of the cake layers. Put on Jonathan. Yes, I named him Jonathan. Put on Jonathan's hat, making sure that everything is in line and perpendicular to the Earth's mantle. Followed by the necessary bloops of buttercream to create our first layer, the crumb coat. This is actually kind of like a crumb prison. Those baby crumbs cannot escape to the outside world. And so while you're watching me do this, did you know that the common 2-tier cake is normally about $150 to $400? It's a lot. Now that crumb prison is established, it's time to spin as necessary and stick Jonathan in the freezer for about 10 to 15 minutes to firm up the buttercream. Now here's my wife Abby just eating fudge out of a jar, and apparently the star of the show. So now that the first layer of sunscreen is firmed up, it's time to reapply. Add healthy bloops and smooth out as necessary. Now, this is a skill that takes time. It took me quite some time and a few cakes, so learn with a good amount of patience. We're going to go ahead and stick Jonathan back in the freezer for 10 to 15 minutes. Now we prepare the chocolate ganache topping. This is basically equal parts semi-sweet and heavy cream. I used 1 cup of each. To heat up, take your rice cooker out of the microwave from when you are cooking rice, and then set your time. I do 15 to 20 set bursts. Bursts, mix and repeat until silky. And it is finally time to start decorating. Get prepped by filling the piping bag with more buttercream using this bag and cup method I call bag and cup, patent pending. Practice your bloop skills? Nice. Watch again. Nice. Now clean up after yourself and get ready to add your border. This is done by squeezing the bag a little until you get the size that you want, relieving pressure, and then swiftly pulling away. Now, skill is trained, so take your time and learn. By no means am I a professional. However, I know that skill can be learned through failure and humility. Thanks for trusting me. Now appreciate your newfound skill and just live in it. I've had a few people ask me how to get a cake to look really smooth. Well, I should have done this beforehand, but you just give it the high and tight shave. Next, you need to prep yourself for the beautiful drip by pouring the ganache into a Ziploc baggie and snip-snap a small hole in the bottom corner. So I took this technique from Cupcake Jemma, where she uses a cup or a bowl to check the viscosity of her ganache, so check your drippage before starting. Now cautiously build a ring around your cake and then start to encourage little drips to go down the side of the cake. Now remember that you can always add big drips, small drips. If you want consistency, then you do you, boo-boo. So to get equidistant bloops on the top, according to JJR, apply 4 dollops on the corners of the circle and then put 1 in between each. And to complete Jonathan, add sprinkles, the like button, and close-ups. So this was for one of my friend's daughter's birthday party, so we're gonna go ahead and serve it up to the kids and see what they think. Hi.
Hey, you're not August, that's August. I want a big cake.
How's the cake? Nice. How is it?
Good.
Take a bite. Show me.
Good.
That's how you eat cake. Do that again.
Oh, you don't want the cake?
I'm ready.
Grab that. That is not okay.
Before you leave, don't forget to hit the like button down below, hit subscribe, and make sure to check out our other videos on the other side of the screen. I will see you next time. Deuces.